Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith. This is Smith in the Black with the weekend vid, and boy, they got nasty here with them at the end of the week here. So what we have here is this broadening formation here, and now looking to come take this out. You know, we had a strong opening to the week, and then we got the lower low, the higher high, and then the boom, gap down inside day puker on Friday. So you got your higher high. Now we're looking for lower lows. So we'll see if we go to the weekly here. Now you got this big shooter. Right, they came up here with not a lot of magnitude to take out these lows, but that's going to change everything. That's going to change the monthly continuity and all that kind of stuff if we take that out. QQQ, same deal. Goes up, comes down, having some problems. If you go to the daily, don't see this. That 322 and still has some magnitude down in here. It's not a lot of magnitude, but you know, when you change all that continuity back to the downside, that's something we want to know about. So if we go to Apple, we knew Apple was in trouble here on the month, saying that how are you going to take out that monthly high? And let me shrink this down for you. That was going to be a tall order to do, right? And so on the weekly now, like a lot of things, you got these big old shooters here, big old shooters to come down and try and take this stuff out, but we'll let them open. If we go to small cappers, another shooter, and that was almost a Momo shooter here because that's a 2 down, 2 up. And now you got this kind of thing here, and what we want to see is how many of these monthlies we take out to the downside, because we know that a lot of things are closing to taking the monthly to the downside, you know, after the last month's rev strat. So going to be an interesting week next week. If we go to TLT bonds, oh boy, bonds. So bonds, another 2 down, and just having all sorts of trouble here in the bond market. So, you know, one of the things that we're seeing is there's not a lot of places to hide, you know, energy, if anything, but we'll get to that in a second. Dow Jones Diamonds, and there's another shooter that came out firing like a lot of things, being like, all right, it's the new quarter, we're going to be great. I'm like, are we? Boom, right back down. So you can see this higher high, lower low. So potentially taking this stuff out if there's any hope in there. You got some inside weeks there in Boeing. Here, Boeing trying to maintain, and McDonald's here, shooter. So and we'll see if they can take that out, but we'll see how that goes. If we go to transports, not much to see here, but same deal. You know, just big old shooters. XLU having more trouble, and XLU takes out the week. And remember, last month here was the rev strat month, and now still puking, and you got all this kind of stuff to come through. So what that tells us is they're not even taking a defensive posture, right? They went out. You know, that's something we wouldn't know about. XLF still inside month. The weekly, same deal. Whole bunch of things looking the same. FAS here, big shooter, and you know, just not a lot of magnitude is what I'm saying. Is like, so even if we take these out, we want to stay down and take out the recent lows. If we go to JP Morgan, here you'll see the same deal. Goldman Sachs has a little more room. So the thing about something like this, where you have some more room to take this out, is that can reconfirm what's already happening. Like if everything starts to take everything out, we're always looking for the most twos, right? And so when things have a little bit more distance to go to, when they start kicking in, that's when all hell breaks loose. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we go to XRT retail, not as bad, but a slight higher high and closer to a 2 down. But if we go to Costco here, outside, so these two are inside of this. So we'll see how that goes, because once again on those monthlies here, 2 down, 2 up, 2 down last month. Now can you come, are we weak enough to take all this stuff out? And that's what we're going to find out. Target here, still an inside month. Weekly, slight higher high. Didn't totally get killed, but we won't know if this goes 2 back down. And Walmart. Here, Walmart outside, weak, and you can see all this stuff jammed in here. But if you go to the monthly, so we go inside month and down, and that's here. Below 128.27. All right, so you're almost there. You got this Muller bar issue in here, but we won't watch them all together. If you go to AutoNation, and AutoNation on the week, here, 3-1er on the week, closer to being a 312 to the downside. If we go to Ali, here, also an inside week. Not a lot of inside weeks, so we'll keep an eye on that kind of stuff. Your winner so far is still crude, and UCO was a 2-2 week to the upside. So we're going to keep an eye on this on the month here. That monthly high last month was 34.18. Right, you're right there. So we want to see that because we're watching XLE. That's hanging in there. It's a lot closer to taking that 2-2 up on the month. And so for the week, had a good week. XLE, they had a good week. And so that's we've known about that all year. If you go to OIH, here, had a good week. So, a lot of that kind of stuff still hanging around. Exxon, here, nice, 2-2 weaker. And so we'll be watching a lot of these monthlies. See if they can maintain the monthly highs. 2 down, 2 up. Exxon over 83.89. I'm sorry, over 99.19. Chevron, how you doing, buddy? A little bit closer here. Got to take that out. 164.53. You've got Conoco, which is still 2 months to the upside. You've got Fang Energy. Here, still a 2 month up. Slob, here, boom, to the upside, inside month and up. Halliburton. So these things are like the bastion of strength, and that's it, and we've known about that all year. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we go to SMH, still an inside month. And on the week, like a lot of things, went up and then came right back down shooter style. If you go to XLK, here, same deal. So we know a lot of that. The tech is still in trouble. If we go to MetaBuddy, well, let's take a look at Microsoft because that matters in the XLK with Apple. Same deal, up and then boom, triangle out. Ugh. But I would say the best thing about this market is that even if we take these shooters, there's not a lot of magnitude. You just take that out, then we don't know. But you are going to shift all the continuity to the downside. So those are the double-edged sword there. Meta, oh boy. And Meta, that's not right. Hold on. There we go. And Meta just still just drifting lower, having all sorts of problems. If you go to the monthly here, I mean, just wiping out years. Just wiping out years, still having trouble. If we go to Amazon, and Amazon, we triangle them out right here, and then the question is going to be weak enough to take all this stuff out. Did have another shooter on the week. I believe it's outside. So that was inside 1-3. But you can see it's been lower, and a lot of these things on the rub. So we want to know about all these guys. Once again, there's not a lot of magnitude out of this, but there's more magnitude here if they start puking on this thing. If we go to Netflix, and Netflix not doing much, but does hold on to an inside week. So we want to see how we get out of all of this, right? And are we weak enough to take this out, the monthly low? And that would be 214.69. You got some distance on that. So, but we'll see what they want to do there. If we go to Google, here, still an inside month. And the weekly, another shooter. 2 up, and then, can you take this out? So Google gets our attention on the downside, below 96.52. If we go to NVIDIA, and NVIDIA, another shooter on the week, having all sorts of problems here. So we'll see on the daily. Tried to get out of this. We're going to see if that was strong enough to come through this broadening formation. It wasn't. Micro try, higher high off of that, and then boom, down she goes. Like I said, a lot of good things about these things. There's not a lot of magnitude to the downside, but if they all start going, the market's going to trade in the direction of the most twos. So we'll keep an eye on that. SWKS, nice reversal day today. If you go to the weekly, stays inside week, Momo shoot. And once again, not a lot of magnitude, but if they all start breaking, that's something we want to know about. MCHP, microchip, that'd be a RevStrat. That's 1, 2, if they can take this out. Below 61.44. If we go to net, also would be RevStrat here. Below 53.38. All right, and if it does that, then we look at the monthly. And then inside month to the downside here, 53.09. So keep an eye on that. If we go to KLAC, still an inside month, and you can see this outside month, 2 up, and now coming back. The 322. Take these guys out, and that would be below here, 282.83. There's your daily. The 322 hits that. And on the week, you got your rev strap 1, 2. If you can take that out. If we go to Zscaler, another inside week, pokes up, comes back down. We go rev strat downside below 163.21. Coinbase, you can watch that with all the Bitcoiners. Little tight in here, but it would be rev strat to the downside 1, 2 up, 2 down, below 61.92. And if that works, you got this monthly here, 59.43. So I'm sorry, make sure that's right. 59.43. Then you can really pound this thing. So we'll see. If we go to LVS, still holding up. It's taking out last month's highs, and that's what we want to know about. And potential 2 down, 2 up, 2 up, 2 down, then 2 back up. And of course, with Wynn Resorts here, still holding gains, and then MLCO held inside day near the high. So it looks like we're all going gambling. LMT, we can watch that with the War Machines on the week. Here, inside week, so closer to the highs. And then Tesla's. Uh-oh. Oof. Tesla's getting a little nasty. So Tesla's on the month. Here is that Momo shoot down. Still got some room in here, and obviously a lot of news coming out of that on how Elon Musk is going to handle the Twitter deal, all that kind of stuff. And inside day to the downside as of yesterday. So it goes out on the low, so you got some exhaustion risk, but like I said, on the monthly, you got a little bit more room here. Certainly you got some more news coming, so we'll see how that goes. So a lot of things closer to the lows. However, the magnitude's not that big, but as I get into the macro vid over the weekend, that can kick a lot of quarterlies down too. So as we've seen, like this week when I talked a lot about simultaneous breaks, is that you can have them on different time frames. So on a daily basis, like here, everything was a 2 up. Here, everything was a 2 up, and then boom, 2, 1, 2, inside and down. So we're constantly watching that. So if we're going to accelerate on the downside, we're going to be watching how many 2s are down on the week and on the month, and then taking the quarter. All right, it's going to do this week. I'm Rob Smith. This is Mr. Black, the weekend vid.